TC.
Got it.
And then Felly and myself. So what I was thinking we might do is I'll just start with, well, I mean, you'll obviously do your welcome and introduction.
Yeah, and I'll hand to you.
Thank you. And then I'll do just a brief introduction for my colleagues and a little bit about our school just for a couple of minutes. And then Felly is going to talk a little bit about our survey. And then Anne will talk about resilience, TC on marketing, and then I'll finish with some planning tools. And we're hoping to have that all done in about half an hour. We've gone through.
Absolutely. And I think maybe the general manager, Matthew Stewart, is going to join us initially. So I might invite him before you just to say a few words to the audience, and then I'll hand to you. And then we're very lucky to have Jackson, the magician, to join us after the Q&A. I'm going to give him the floor for a couple of minutes to just entertain us before we all sort of leave on a joyful moment.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, something different. I thought, people will be drained in taking information. If they can leave with a smile and a magic touch, I think maybe something different.
That's wonderful.
That sounds great.
So hopefully he will come on board. He's in the state at the moment, but he's going to join us.
Wonderful. And can I just confirm, colleagues, that we each have the opportunity to share screen so we can share our particular slides? That's functions enabled? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just test my one to start.
Yeah, I'd like to test mine too.
So,
beautiful. I can see it.
Excellent. Okay, I'll stop share.
Okay, I'll try mine if you don't mind. I'm the one next, right? Because sometimes some problems might arise. Is that okay? Then I have to actually
click on slideshow.
That's right.
All right at the bottom.
I got that. All right. It's just that sometimes my computer misbehaves. All right. Is that clear? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, that's great.
All right. Okay. And then let me just show a couple of. I actually made some changes, so I shortened it, Michelle, just to make sure that I don't go over my time allocation. And then if I want to stop share, I just click that. Okay, good. All right.
Excellent.
And
Okay, I'll have a quick go. There we are. And oops. There we are. Is that coming through?
Yep, perfectly.
Excellent. Okay, excellent.
let's see if I've got mine queued. Is that coming through?
Perfectly.
For some funny reason, I don't get my stop share. There we go. All right, looks good then.
How many people were you expecting, Ollie?
Probably about 60.
Okay. Well, thanks again for having us.
I think the transition of government disrupted a lot of people.
Hello.
And very fortunate that we're expecting about 60 attendee. Here's Jackson from the States. Jackson, you can quickly say hello to everyone while we've got you online before we start formally. So feel free to introduce yourself or tell us, what do you do?
Hi guys, my name is Jackson Aces. I've been a professional magician for 16 years now. And for the past 6 months, I've been all in on virtual shows. So whenever a company needs to lift people up and get everybody involved and engaged, they bring me in, and from anywhere from a 5-minute performance up to an hour is what I've been doing, really getting people involved. Magic isn't just like performing and seeing a magician on YouTube. I really like to get volunteers and use them and have their input. So you'll see that later on tonight. We're going to be doing one short trick as a demonstration, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks again for having me here, Wally.
Pleasure.
Oh, and by the way, Wally, I'm back in Australia.
Are you?
Yeah, I got back a few months ago.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, just in time for lockdown.
Well, Michelle, feel free to say if you want to ask any of your colleagues, if they want to ask Jackson any questions while we've got, a few times, so feel free.
Can you make COVID disappear, Jackson?
I've been trying my best.
Well, it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Wally, so after the Q&A, we'll be having the magic?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Can I send
probably
you
another, so
intro?
time-wise, I'll be probably about 10 to 7.
Beautiful. I'll send you a short introduction that you can read out to intro me. I'll put it in the chat.
Or SMS it to me.
I'll do both.
Okay, just in case.
Yeah.
So we have Emmanuel. Emmanuel, can we see your face?
Yes,
Emmanuel.
I'm here.
I can hear someone is near a train station. If my ears
Seems
are
like
working
it.
correctly.
I better.
Here's Emmanuel. Emmanuel from the Maryland Chamber of Commerce.
Hi. Good that you could make it, Emmanuel.
Rochelle, where are you from? I can't hear you. Sorry, unmute yourself.
I'm from Condell Park. Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure. Thanks for connecting.
You're lucky, Wally. I'm just waiting for the hairdressers to open.
Well, Monday. But that's the advantage of my hair. So
Yeah, that's what I said. You're lucky.
So Wally, when
1 second.
when I'm introduced, sure.
I feel bad, Jackson. Just tell me.
I'm glad you're here. Keeping it in check.
Hello.
No, just when I'm brought on, if I can be made the co-host, that'd be great. Then I can bring people on.
Leah's
spotlighting.
listening, so she'll do that for you.
Thanks, Leah.
She's the one that says Canberra Bankstown, so she's there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Done.
Thanks for that. There's quite a few co-hosts. I didn't know you could do so many.
That's what we're here. Education, learning. mentorship, experience, the knowledge.
Sorry, Jackson, were you saying something?
All good, Wally. All sorted.
Wally.
Hi, Oli. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Hi.
Oh, we got Sarah from West Fund.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Fantastic. And we have John, the chairman from the Bulldogs, is on as well. How are you, John?
Good, Wally. Can you hear me?
I can't see you, but
Yep. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I'm actually out, so I'm just listening in.
Okay, that's
Is that
fine.
okay?
Absolutely.
Great.
Michelle, as you can see, the participants are sort of coming through slowly, but so probably, do you mind if we'll just wait another minute or so, if that's okay?
Of course, of course.
Yep. We are now 18.
Well, at the meantime, if someone has something to share, if Genevieve from Navitas is with us this evening. Genevieve, how are you? Unmute.
Unmute myself. I should know that by now. Hi, Wally.
How are you?
Great to be here. Yeah, I'm really well. Looking forward to the end of lockdown, of course.
Well, Monday is the D-Day, so we'll look.
Yeah.
How's Navitas traveling so far?
We're going well. Yes, we obviously had to transition in this lockdown again to online learning, and that's been going quite well. Of course, it has its challenges because not all of our students, if people don't know, we have migrant and refugee students as well as others, native English speakers as well, and we run programs, English language and employability programs.
Fantastic.
Well, but some people lower level find it's a struggle for them accessing devices and using the online space, but yes, still good.
Fantastic. Sarah from West Fund, have you got any specials, any promotion to kick after the from the opening forward? Sarah or Tony Campbell, can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, I forgot to the old thing from last year. You're on mute. Yes, we have 1 month free for members who join. We're also looking to do a survey soon to see how we can best support the members of the chamber in terms of webinars, speakers, things like that. So some exciting things to come.
And anyone who's interested in private funds or any kind of information, please reach out to Sarah or contact me. I'm happy to connect you. Well, we've got Mike Thomas from Canterbury Council is on board. So before we kick in, Mike Thomas, would you like to say a few words before we start?
Thanks, Wally, for what you're doing in the business community and organising these sessions. I think it's great. It's proactive. I think the Premier gave you a good shout out the other day, or the former Premier, I should say. Yeah, welcome everyone, and it's a privilege for us as Canterbury Bankstown City Council to be supporting not only the business community, but what Wally's doing. And Bill, I see that you're here from the Western Sydney University as well. So it's great to be working in partnership together. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And at the end of the day, it's all about team. We have a fantastic board, and some of them here are with us online. So it's all about team effort. It's all about working together. In saying that, I'd like to invite Michelle to take over.
Thank you very much, Wally. I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see that in a moment. And look, I'd really like to thank you, Wally, and the rest of the board for inviting us today to speak to businesses from Canterbury Bankstown. Very excited to be able to share some of our results from our recent survey that we have undertaken, but also to share with you all some potential ideas for navigating outside of COVID and what tools businesses might need to assist with that. So I think I'd just like to start, I suppose, first up to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands upon which we are meeting today. I do pay my respects to elders past and present and emerging, and I recognise and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and the waters of Australia. Today, I'm coming to you from the Darawal country, and I'm sure many of you are on other various lands and upon which we meet today. And I know the Canterbury Bankstown area does spread across a couple of the different lands. But look, I thought I might just tell you all a little bit before we start about our School of Business. We do engage with industry partners in the development and the promotion of multidisciplinary research that has real world impact. And we integrate industry practice with theoretical knowledge to enrich our teaching, as our mission is committed to producing graduates who are prepared for enterprise futures. Now, just to move on to my next screen. So we're all here today from the School of Business, and I'll introduce my colleagues in just one moment. Now, there are a number of ways that industry can work with us in the School of Business, and you can see there on the screen, we have some engaged units where industry can provide real life case studies for our students to work on to help solve some business problems. And we also offer paid and unpaid internships and other business projects for students. You can work with us by being involved with some guest lectures or consulting projects, or even commissioned research for some of the larger businesses. And I'm really excited to share with you that we are going to soon be launching our Enterprise Exchange, which will provide local businesses and community groups with an opportunity to discuss their ideas, make connections, and explore solutions to real business problems. So this Enterprise Exchange will be available on our campuses where we teach business, that is Campbelltown, Bankstown, and Parramatta. And the Enterprise Exchange will also offer specialised masterclasses for free to our local Western Sydney businesses to help businesses and other organisations to improve their skills and knowledge. So there will be more on this on weeks to come, and you'll be invited to attend our launch. We're still debating whether we actually have a face-to-face launch or a virtual launch. I'm thinking we'll probably have a virtual launch to start with, and then as things open up, we'll invite you to our various campuses. And just I need to give a bit of a plug to some of the courses that we offer here in our School of Business. So for those of you who might be looking at undertaking some formal study, our school offers an MBA program with 10 diverse specialisations to choose from, including finance management, marketing, supply chain management, and innovation and entrepreneurship. We also offer scholarships to some business people at the moment in that space. So if you're interested, we will have our contact details at the end of the presentation, and we can send you some information about that. And we also offer accredited courses in accounting and financial planning. And we've got a new degree, a Master of Marketing, that's now being offered. Now, for some of you, you might not have studied at university before, but you might want some business basics, and you can still come and study with us. So you might be interested in our graduate certificate in business, and work experience counts towards admission for the program, and you can tailor that program to your needs. So once again, if you're interested, we will have some contact details at the end, and I do encourage you to reach out and have that discussion with us. But look, for tonight, you will hear from myself and my colleague, Associate Professor Felicitas Evangelista, Dr. Tendai Chikwache, and we call him TC, and Associate Professor Anne Daddick. And we do hope that our insights will help you plan ahead and know which tools that you need as you plan your way out of lockdown. So I might just hand you over to Associate Professor Evangelista, and she will now tell you a little bit about the results of our most recent Western Sydney Business Survey, Making Western Sydney Greater. And this was conducted in conjunction with William Buck Advisory, St George Bank, and Western Sydney Business Connection. Thank you, Feli. I'll just stop sharing my screen and you can share yours.
Thank you, Michelle. I guess go on. Just want. Oh, sorry. I should start from the top. Sorry. Are you able to see my screen now? Yeah, okay, sorry. All right, thanks, Michelle. My name is Feli. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some of the results we obtained from our survey. This was conducted in August this year together with our business partners, William Bach, St. George, and Business Connect. My brief presentation is going to revolve around these 4 topics here. And just to start, to give you an idea about who our respondents are, we actually attracted more than 300 respondents to this survey. But then for this presentation, we restricted our analysis to those who are who qualify as micro, small, and medium enterprises, of which there was a total of 238 respondents. And all of these 238 are from the 13 local government areas in Greater Western Sydney. Micro enterprises are those who employ from 0 to 5 employees, small from 6 to 19, and medium from 20 to 199. And as you can see, 44% of the respondents in the survey are micro enterprises, and they are from 11 industry sectors. Some sectors had more respondents than others. Now, the first set of questions we asked in the survey was about the impact of COVID-19 on revenue and operations of the SMEs. Of those who responded to the question of impact on revenue, 60% said they encountered a decline, 8% had no change, and luckily we had 32% who experienced some growth in their revenue in the past 12 months. So our survey was conducted in August, and they were asked about their experience in the past 12 months, which actually covered 2020 and 2021, 2020 to 2021. The impact was highest among micro enterprises, of which 70% experienced a decline, compared to 59% among the small and 40% among the medium-sized companies. So in general, the bigger companies had suffered less than the smaller companies, and some sectors also had a greater impact from COVID than others. The ones that had a better performance were those in agribusiness, manufacturing, and retail and wholesale. In terms of areas adversely affected by COVID-19, at least 50% of the respondents reported that they had problems with sales-related areas, so accessing new markets, sales, customer engagement were a problem. Others had problems with staff engagement, managing expenditures, and of course there were those who had reported positive impact of COVID on remote working arrangements. I suppose working from home working remotely became a standard or default practice. And just over less than 50% actually said that the pandemic did not have any effect on the skill set of their workforce. Now, during the pandemic, the government had responded by way of some grants and support mechanisms to business. And so we asked them to rate how they felt about this support from the federal government and support from the New South Wales government. And the rating was from 1, very inadequate, to 10, being excellent. And as we can see from the average ratings here, federal support was rated higher by all groups of companies than the state support. And among the different sizes of companies, the larger companies also tended to give a higher rating than the smaller companies. Now, of those who applied for COVID-19, only 63% or around 64% were successful. And the top 3 grants received were JobKeeper, Cash Flow, COVID-19 business grants, which also were rated as the most useful. There were suggestions from the respondents that there should have been some tax relief in terms of reducing or halting payroll tax, company and personal tax. About sentiments regarding the future, we asked the respondents to indicate how positive or negative they were regarding the business outlook for 21-22 and about the future industry outlook in the longer term. And between the two, the future industry outlook, which was for a longer term, was rated higher than the short-term business outlook for 21-22, and the scores were from 1 to 7. A higher score indicates a more positive outlook. And again, looking at the different company sizes, the bigger ones tend to give a higher rating with respect to the future in terms of positive or negative they were. So overall, the larger companies are more positive than their smaller counterparts, and between the future long-term outlook, this one had a higher rating than the shorter-term business outlook for the fiscal year or financial year 21-22. Now, resilience. This is an interesting topic. We specifically looked at resilience of SMEs in Greater Western Sydney. We asked the respondents to rate themselves on a strongly disagree to strongly agree scale of 1 to 5 on 3 statements. The first had to do with their ability to cope with the changes in the business brought about by COVID-19, and then also with their ability to adapt to the disruptions, as well as to their ability to respond quickly to the adverse effects of the disruptions. So resilience was in terms of coping, adapting, and responding to the disruptions caused by COVID. And based on some statistical analysis, we found certain factors affect resilience. One is the size of the company. Bigger companies tend to be more resilient. And this really is in line with the theory that, companies with more resources are able to work. And among the sectors, industry sectors, agribusiness and manufacturing were the top 2 resilient sectors. And we also found that SME resilience is related to the number of COVID grants received. Those who are more resilient receive fewer grants. So the less resilient companies benefited more from COVID-19 grants, which actually is the intention of the government. So we're quite happy with that result. And those that rated the federal government support to be excellent also rated themselves to be resilient, more resilient. And another factor, which again is like consistent with those of other studies, is that optimism and resilience go hand in hand. These two are strongly related with each other. Those who have a positive outlook are more resilient than those with a less positive or negative outlook. And the long-term industry outlook had a stronger impact on resilience than the short-term business outlook, which sort of indicate that, those who are optimistic tend to view COVID-19 disruptions as temporary, and because this is temporary, they have that view of being able to cope and being able to adapt and not be too negative about it. And this is consistent. I'm citing here the finding of a study which was done during the 2016 Kaikoura earthquake in New Zealand, where they interviewed several tourist business operators, business owners and managers. And this is what they found, that business owners and managers who had realistic optimism, not overly optimistic, not, too much optimism, unrealistic, positive optimism. Those who are realistic were more likely to be aware of the changing environment, and they knew when to adopt strategies to navigate the changes. So I suppose the take-home message here is that one's sentiments about the future can have an impact on the resiliency of the business. And I guess I would like to leave you with that note and would like to pass you on to the next presenter, Anne Dadich. Thank you.
Thank you, Feli.
Stop share.
Thank you, Feli.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, the survey results point to the importance of organisational resilience. It might be helpful for me to briefly address 3 points, namely, what is it, why is it important, and how can we bolster it? The word resilience comes from a Latin word, which means to jump back or recoil. Hence, resilience often refers to your ability to bounce back after being stretched or strained. Similarly, research suggests that organisational resilience is an organisation's ability to continue to perform and meet its objectives in the face of challenge. Irrespective of whether you're part of the private, public, or not-for-profit sector, it enables organisations to withstand stresses, continuously innovate, and quickly adapt to change. It helps an organisation to cope and reinvent or reconfigure itself. It enables an organisation to resist adversity, recover, and anticipate change. However, organisational resilience is not the sole property of an organisation. It's not something that an organisation either has or does not have. It's relational. It is influenced by interactions between the organisation and its environment. This reminds me of an African proverb that suggests that it takes a village to raise a child. Similarly, it takes a society to help organisations to thrive. This includes the different levels of government, universities, and communities. This suggests there is opportunity to develop resilience within organisations, sectors, and societies. Organisational resilience is important because it helps organisations to survive and to thrive. Although it has always been important, organisational resilience is perhaps particularly important now. This is largely because of the accelerating pace of change and disruption. Consider the rise of social media, changing social, economic, and demographic trends, as well as the seeming regularity of crises, the GFC, the effects of climate change, COVID-19, and public health experts suggest that we haven't seen the last of a pandemic. Although there are no universal recipes that can guarantee organisational resilience, much can be learnt from research in this area. For instance, building organisational resilience includes being prepared for the contingencies, reducing the probability of failure, and guaranteeing continuity of business operations even under adverse situations. Reflecting on his experiences as a business leader and a researcher, Brent Gleeson identified 15 fundamental pillars that all resilient organisations are founded on. For instance, they have a focused sense of urgency and anticipate change well. They believe a little bit of paranoia is a good thing. They are always looking to the horizon for opportunities and threats, and complacency does not exist. They exist in a constant state of transformation and reset the goals every few years. And every time they do, they set a clear time-bound vision and communicate it regularly, and information is disseminated quickly. They involve as many people as possible in mission planning. They embody a people-first approach. People, then customers, then shareholders in that order. Also, resilient organisations are made up of lifelong learners. They encourage transparent feedback and use that data to constantly improve the business. They give everyone a voice. Furthermore, they never allow or reward mediocrity. Performance expectations are clearly defined, and they always recognise and reward above and beyond behaviour. To learn more on how to build the resilience of your organisation, I encourage you to contact us to find out more. But now I'd like to welcome TC to share with us some marketing tools.
Thanks, Anne and Feli, for doing such a great job. And thank you for having us today. I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot, I guess, of insights from the study and also just general insights around marketing, for SMEs in a post-COVID era. I guess 3 fundamental questions that have emerged from the COVID experience that I think all businesses, particularly SMEs, have faced is one, a reflection on the role of marketing in a post-COVID era, and then also learning on the challenges and opportunities that have emerged from the COVID experience, and then use that experience to identify a roadmap for growth and survival. And I think one of the key lessons that has come out of COVID is the fact that disruption is going to be a reality for businesses and us as individuals, going into the future. I mean, if you just look at what happened to Facebook yesterday, if you look at what has happened with the postal strikes, all those are classic examples of how disruption is going to become a part of our lives as businesses and individuals. And I think that has kind of catapulted the importance of marketing for every business, no matter what size they're really looking at. And I think our results kind of speak to that finding, in the sense that when we asked businesses to identify the areas that they are going to prioritize in terms of investment coming out of COVID, significantly, the majority of them, in fact, close to 65%, identified marketing-related expenses as priority areas that they're actually going to focus on. This is quite interesting in the sense that traditionally SMEs don't really place much value in investing in marketing. But I think the experience of COVID around the need for e-commerce, around the need for innovative communication, and the general notion of digitalization kind of brought the notion or the importance of marketing to the front of doing business for SMEs. So that is reflected in the sort of areas that they actually want to prioritize around new products, around e-commerce, and the general investment within marketing. So what that has basically done, I think, from an SME point of view, is to pose a couple of questions in terms of saying, what are some of the challenges that SMEs actually encountered during COVID? And from those challenges, what sort of opportunities actually emerge for SMEs to pick themselves up, after COVID, and continue to have, going concerns, big business enterprises. And I think from the challenges, I'm not going to go through each of those, because I think a majority of you are living testimony of the challenges that businesses have faced during COVID. But I think just to highlight some of the core ones that are not just unique to Australia, but actually unique to other markets that are similar to Australia. If you look at OECD countries, SMEs have been facing similar challenges to challenges that some of you have been facing during COVID. So the notion of uncertainty is constantly, coming out as a key concern for SMEs and broad businesses as a whole. But I think the important one from a marketing point of view that is coming out globally, inclusive of Australia, is the changing nature of customer expectations as a result of the experience that they actually got during COVID. I'm sure for those of you who run businesses, you would agree with me that you found yourselves having to deal with a different sort of customer expectation, different needs, different levels of engagement. Some of these were even reflected, by the type of supply chain disruptions that you faced as you conducted business during COVID. So that has become the new frontier, if you want to use a better term, for marketers going out of COVID and thinking about SMEs specifically. They need to rethink, customer expectations and how they engage with those. And then other issues around reskilling and retooling. Again, those are challenges that businesses have been facing during COVID, which you can relate to. But I think more importantly, rather than dwell on the challenges, let's think about the opportunities and what that means for SMEs going forward from a marketing point of view. And again, you will see that one of the key opportunities that emerges is that idea around a renewed customer centricity in terms of SMEs and businesses in general needing to go back to understand their engagement, to understand their connection with their customers, to reflect on the experiences that they actually got as business providers and the experiences that their customers also got during COVID. I'll talk a bit about the bootstrapping as a way forward in my last bit, but I just thought I could talk about an opportunity around empathy. I think one of the key lessons that we all got from COVID is the challenge and need for empathy. in the case of SMEs, that empathy is manifested in one, empathy for your suppliers failing to supply you, empathy for your customers failing to access your products, and more important, empathy around your employees, your team players being incapacitated to come to work or coming to work but not having the adequate resources. So that notion of empathy has created a different opportunity, I think, for SMEs going into the post-COVID era in terms of saying, what does that mean, for marketing? But I think before we outline a potential roadmap that marketers within the SME context can look at, it's important to think about what should be the starting stepping stone in terms of thinking about growth and survival in a post-COVID era. I think what COVID has done or has demonstrated to businesses is the challenge to shift your market mindset in terms of how you think about who your customers are, in terms of how you think about how you respond to the different changes that take place in a market. As we have seen, various players in hospitality, for example, had to rethink their business models around doing takeaway, around doing commercial products, and other businesses had to go outside their comfort space and start thinking about producing things like PPE. So that's an example of how post-COVID requires SMEs to go back to those lessons learned during COVID and start rethinking about how they identify their market, how they think about their connection with customers, how they think about identifying potential to create and capture new demand. Of course, not everyone is going to be able to do the same level of diversification as people were able to do during COVID. But that's a key important sort of starting off point in terms of, taking stock of what happened during COVID and then reevaluate your business position and say, what does this mean for us as a whole system? Can it allow us to have certain levers of differentiation and low cost in order for us to be competitive, within a post-COVID era? So I think in terms of marketing tools, which is the term we've been using, for me, I think for SMEs, it's really around reimagining how you can use the various marketing, tools, if you want to use the word, that are available. And I think, again, at a global level, we've seen SMEs and marketers in general resorting to using what we call bootstrapping strategies. Bootstrapping strategies, from a marketing perspective, essentially involves marketers within organizations that are resource constrained, like SMEs. You don't have big markets, big budgets, for marketing. So I think COVID kind of challenged marketers to think about how they can effectively use, some of the lessons and networks and connections that they have. So that's what bootstrapping strategies essentially involve. And as I said, this has become big at a global level in terms of how both SMEs and other big businesses are using this. So I'll just pick a few just to demonstrate how, without necessarily investing in TV, radio, and the big budget marketing strategies, you can actually reconnect with your customers. Inevitably, we've seen that it's important to embrace digital marketing and social communication, whilst that has some element of financial commitment, but there is so much leeway and opportunities to effectively use digital marketing and social communication. But I think some simpler marketing tactics that SMEs could go back to are simple things such as retaining existing customers, dedicating your service to your customers, and going back to understanding the challenges that your customers have faced. What sort of needs do they have that have emerged as a result of their experience with COVID? The way they access products and services has changed significantly, and that has a lot of impact in terms of how you can actually connect with them as businesses. We've seen the challenge for convenience or the need for convenience during COVID. All those are sort of simple touch points that you can actually look at as SMEs, if you're looking at SMEs, and I guess even bigger businesses. So because I think as SMEs, you have a bigger opportunity, or rather you've got a better leverage of being agile and being adaptable. And again, I think this extends even to other businesses, as we saw everyone really moving on during COVID to move on to digitization. I would say some of the non-capital intensive marketing tools that we often undermine that can be useful in a post-COVID era where customer centricity is important, is the importance of emphasizing your uniqueness, the importance of investing in community building because it again renews your connection with customers and allows you to reconnect with them. And in so doing, gives you better leverage around building a consistent branding strategy. I know these are issues that we often don't think about, but those are some of the sort of insights that are emerging at a global level as strategies that can be used by SMEs. I will pass you over to Michelle.
Thank you, TC.
Over to you, Michelle.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen again. So just as TC has talked a little bit about marketing tools, what other business planning tools might be needed post-COVID? So for some businesses that have been subjected to very tight lockdown restrictions, post-COVID recovery might involve a complete reset. And for all businesses, the business landscape has changed considerably. To start with, I suppose the most important tool to a business to consider using is its mission. So I'll just go through a couple of the business planning tools I'd like to discuss. The mission is the first one we need to look at because it's the basis of all business planning. And in this sense, businesses need to be clarifying their goals and objectives. Why does the business exist? Is it to make a profit? Is it to make a difference in people's lives? For us at Western Sydney University, for our School of Business, we are looking to produce graduates that are prepared for enterprise futures. So that's our mission. And maybe it's to provide a service to the community. But what does the business want to be known for? And once this has been settled, then the real business planning can begin. So the business should firstly review how the business was going prior to the pandemic. And I know TC did touch on this. Reviewing your current and your past financial statements and reviewing the current state of the business. For some of you, you might need to make an appointment perhaps with your accountant so that you do understand what the numbers in your financial statements mean. I'm sure many of you have spent a lot of time recently poring over those figures, but if you don't really understand them, that can be a barrier to you growing your business further. So that's one thing really as a tool can be really important to help you see where you are now and then to compare it to where you would like to go. What are the strengths that you can build upon and what are the weaknesses that need to be addressed? Once you've done that, you can then start looking at maybe what your planned sales might look like once everything opens up. So we do know from last year when we broke out of lockdown, things went crazy. There was a huge surge in spending, and leading up to the Christmas period, which traditionally is a peak period, this could potentially happen again. So the other thing to consider though, some businesses are going to be restricted to how many people they can allow on the premises. So I'm sure many of you have already considered how you might manage that, but how is that going to affect your revenue? Have you actually planned through what that impact on sales might be? And if you have an increase in revenue, let's say 10%, do you know how that's going to impact on your bottom line? Do you know the sorts of resources that that might impact on as well? Are there any additional costs that you're going to need because of the lockdown restrictions being lifted? Do you need to maybe employ additional people just to be checking QR status or vaccination status? These are questions that need to be asked. And what's that cost going to be? What is your break-even point? So this is where, once again, understanding the financials can be really important. Do you know what level of sales you need to break even? And the other thing is, what about pricing? Do you need to maybe make some changes to pricing? Things certainly have changed now in the environment that we're in. Look at your gross profit, your net profit, your sales, and your return on investment. How do they compare to industry benchmarks? And then this is where cash flow comes in, one of the most important things for a business. Looking at doing a cash flow forecast. If you haven't already been doing that, you can see how the government's been assisting a lot of businesses, but that's going to gradually be moving away up to the end of November. So what money is due to come into the business? When is it due to come in? Where is it going to be coming from? And this is related again to your sales, but also any additional costs that you might have to bear. How long do your customers take to pay you? And what money will be going out and when? So if you're purchasing supplies or you're paying employees, so you've got to pay your taxes, you might have loan repayments. Putting all of this into a cash flow forecast for each week can help you identify your peaks and troughs And then also it can allow you to take any action where maybe you've got some of those low moments of cash. So you can make sure you put cash away in advance to make payments at the times that they fall due. One of the other things to look at, of course, you're checking your stock levels. So with some businesses not being able to do much trading recently, you may not have replenished stock supplies. We know that there can be a hold up in getting those delivered. So making sure that you know what you need and that the orders are placed, and when do they have to be placed, how long will it take to arrive, and when will you be paying for that stock. Do you have the staff that you need? This is a really important one. Anne touched on why people are so important to resilience, and that those businesses and those people who are very resilient put people at the forefront. So what are the staff that you have? What staff do you need? Do they fit in with your business culture? Do you have to do any retraining or upskilling? Maybe you need to put together a bit of a skills matrix, because the skills that are required now are starting to change. When we look at the impact of social media and technology, these sorts of things, not everybody might have the necessary skills. They might need some additional training. Are your current systems suitable? Now, this is a really big thing. You've heard a lot, I'm sure, in the media about cyber attacks. Will your IT system stand up to a cyber attack? This is a very important question for all sized businesses, because the cost can really be quite dramatic in terms of dealing with a cyber attack. Australian businesses have a 30% chance of suffering a data breach, and cybersecurity incidents in Australia have cost around, and this is just ridiculous, $29 billion just in Australia per year. So something that does need to be addressed, and it is hard when people are a bit strapped for cash, but it's important to look at whether you need to invest in any new technology, security software, or even just some education for employees to protect your business against cyber attacks. Just knowing which emails are the ones that you shouldn't be opening, what not to click on, what else you can do to just protect your data and the privacy of your customers as well. But how will you fund this sort of investment? And this is where sometimes government grants can also help. And what other risks does your business face? Have you looked at the cost of a deep clean? What happens if you open up and you have to do a deep clean? Do you know where you're going to get those resources from? How much is it going to cost? What's your plan of attack? What will you be doing with your employees during that time? How long will it take? Really important to ensure that you know exactly what you're going to do with that. And also to look at your current insurances to make sure that they are up to date, and reviewing the other risks that your business might take. And I notice we have got someone here who represents an insurance company. Maybe you need to have a chat with them, but just good to review your insurance policies and make sure that you've got the best cover and that everything is included. And look, while TC has already covered marketing as an important tool, have you considered your marketing budget and what your expected return on your investment on marketing is? Do people know that your business is open? Do they know your working hours? Do you have something new perhaps that you can offer? And do you measure customer satisfaction? TC said how important now in this post-COVID world, how important customer satisfaction is. So how do you measure it, and how do you know how you're tracking with that? Customer satisfaction is a key driver for business growth. But finally, let's talk about networking, a very powerful tool for your business. So if you're here today, you probably already know that. It costs very little, but it can provide large benefits for your business. So don't stop that networking. Continue to use your networks for support, for encouragement, for introductions to maybe potential new customers, or even just to learn from one another and provide that support, just to know that you're not alone. If necessary, you might even want to find yourself a coach or a mentor. So that's a toolbox for business planning for you in a nutshell. But I suppose I'll just finish off here. Where to now? Let's just summarise what actions you need to take. So as we've discussed, let's just look at reviewing your existing cash forecasts and what funds you have available to undertake your plans. Maybe doing a financial stress test. So, doing a few little different scenarios based on different restriction levels so that you can maybe determine how your organisation will trade under different circumstances. And you can assess the impact of different events on the financial health of the business by applying changes to those key drivers of the business. So you might apply different assumptions on an isolated basis. So you just make a change, say to one assumption, it might be sales, for example, and hold everything else constant, or maybe making changes to multiple assumptions and assessing the total impact. So for example, do you know what impact the different types of restrictions might have on your revenue? And what if you have a rapid increase? Because that may happen, might have been used to looking at decreases in revenue because that's happened recently. But what if you have a rapid increase in revenue? How are you going to deal with that? Can you maintain the same level of staff and credit payment cycles, or do they have to change? So a few different actions that you can take now to protect you in the future. And of course, finally, just review the grants that are available to you as well. So you've got local government grants. A lot of the local councils in Western Sydney have offered some great grants to businesses in their local area. You've got your state grant. We've got the JobSaver at the moment, and there are often some federal government grants available that might suit you as well. So knowing where to look for those can also be helpful. And I've just got a slide here which will outline where you can go to for that. Okay, so you've got your tax office as well. If you need to ask for maybe a bit more extra time to make some of your tax payments, you can do that. And you've got Safe Work Australia. You might also want to consider the Australian Cybersecurity Centre if that's an area where you need a little bit of assistance. And the Western Sydney Business Centre can provide some advice that's free and some other business tools that might help as well. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing my screen and I'll open it up to some questions, and I'll put our contact details at the end for those of you who might want to reach out to us.
Thank you, Michelle. So if anyone has a question, just please raise your hand or just lead the way. Okay, Emmanuel.
Yep, thanks, Tendai and Michelle. I just want to bring up something very specific. If you're looking at marketing, right, and if you're looking at decentralized finance, Michelle, you'll understand what I'm talking about. See, the current SME owner, the linchpin to all this is technology, right? See, 25 years ago, I did my MBA. I know it's all about pricing and place. Now, if you want to market, you need to understand AdTech and MarTech. You know all the tools that are available. It's very, very sophisticated, right? And secondly, you're also talking about your existing process, like let's say your website, and having to integrate those tools into your, I mean, even if you take something like MailChimp, for example, right? Or you have a website, integrating those marketing tools to your website so it becomes a full service marketing tool. It's just too complex for the average SME owner. I mean, I've been in IT for 25 years. I struggle with the proliferation of technology that's coming up, right? So Google has started talking about Web3. Very, very soon, we are going to be looking at very sophisticated websites. SME owners have no knowledge of it. We can talk about marketing and all the concepts, but for them to leverage on that really, they need to know technology, digital transformation and automation. We are also talking about decentralized finance. Yesterday, as you know, Bitcoin broke through resistance at 50K and became larger than Facebook. It's the 4th largest company in the world now. So that's coming like a steam truck. And leveraging on that for an SME means a lot of finance, additional finances not going through your traditional centralized financial institutions. What I'm trying to, Michelle, we talked about it in one of your the previous workshops about industry collaboration, right? I think, and you touched on it, there is a critical need through your university, through the chambers, to actually provide training. Because if businesses continue to be ignorant of these things, right, ultimately it comes down to technology. They need to really understand, and there are steam trucks coming, Web3, marketing tools, decentralized finance, right? The basic knowledge that an SME owner today requires is very, very high, the technological requirement. So I open that up to you, but I think it's so critical. I'm not sure. I go and meet an average owner, I have no clue. And what that tends to do is the gap between those guys who have specialists who know that and the SME owner who's supposed to know is widening.
It's funny you mentioned this, Emmanuel, because I actually had more in what I wanted to say, but I was trying to restrict the time. But one of the questions I was going to ask for marketing, are you going to maybe hire someone to do that for your business? Or maybe are you going to contract it out to someone? Are you going to have a specialist to assist? Because it is such an important area. This is the way the business landscape has changed. And yes, in the past, we have offered some workshops to Western Sydney businesses on digital marketing, but it's very hard to deliver all of the training in such, in 1 hour, for example, even like today.
What I meant was, I think the government has some funding available, but looking at a long term, if they really want the SMEs to survive, I think the government needs to start focusing on training these entrepreneurs and owners. And there has to be a structure through the university, through the chambers, I think, to provide that with additional funding. I think it's very critical.
Very valid point. And I think moving forward, there will be, hopefully in 2022, be more educational workshops, more targeted workshops on SMEs. Without complicating it, we want to bring the right tools, simplify it, and make it possible to understand by the average operator. So that's something will be as an action point moving forward. So thank you for that, Emmanuel. Anyone, yes. Any other member?
Thank you. And if I just can pick up on that too, I think the co-collaboration might be something rather than us designing the training courses. We need to work with industry just to make sure we're meeting the needs. Sorry.
Menza? I'm muted.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Michelle. Actually, I'm a small business owner located in Bankstown. I understand like different business level have different sufferings during the COVID time. As an entrepreneur and running a small business, because my business is IT and software. So what I feel like we have many things we can do, especially we can utilize this lockdown time and the lessons we learn during this time, how we can collaborate. Like here, I found today we are here, 33 members. For example, Emmanuel, he raised some issues like training. Actually, we are here, we have different capabilities, but we don't know each other. So I think, Wally, if you can do something like, for example, I can give some opportunity to all the members, like what is the basic of the digital marketing? Yeah, I can explore, I can provide these types of information. So actually we need to know each other. And if there is any opportunity, like we can collaborate. For example, big SME or enterprise, their problem is different level. They are suffering in loss, but for a small business, actually they are not fighting in loss. They are fighting with existence. So we need to understand, like inside us, we are a great member here. If we have the opportunity to help each other, give the opportunity and know each other, I think we can utilize our strength, and we can be more benefited from this platform.
Rahman, again, it's a very valid point. One of the tools we provide in the chamber called the round table. And the round table is about bringing up to 8-9 businesses from different walks of life and different regardless of the size operation to come together, share that kind of knowledge, share difficulties, and they will provide their real experience to help with the solution. So we will be communicating the round table hopefully in the October and the November newsletter, and we're going to put the link out there to start getting people to engage. Now, post-COVID, we're going to be able to come back to reality, networking events, so we can build relationships. So two things, networking will be crucial for people to come along and build relationships. And again, the roundtable is one of the tools available at the chamber, small focus group, so they can connect, collaborate, work together and solve problem, relying on support, like supporting each other.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Ali. Can I just add on to those roundtables, just a couple of personal experiences as a member of the chamber as well. What you're talking about, is it Mizana? Yeah,
Yes, right.
about coming together. That's part of what networking is, and I think that the chamber. I've been a member for 2 years, and honestly, it's my top priority in my marketing strategy. I think it's digital is great, but it's so personable to meet people through word of mouth and grow your business locally, and it's been a wonderful experience for me. Australia Post has just given us a grant, the Chamber a grant to be able to fund these roundtables, and I think they will be taking applications with the next newsletter, Wally, I believe, and then start putting these groups together. Now, the application for those roundtables, they're going to ask you a series of questions like, what do you want to get from these roundtables? But just on a personal experience as well, I personally have some certain skills that, small businesses want. And, sometimes these roundtables or these smaller groups, they try and get that for free, if you know what I mean. But, the networking is about that. It's always like having a bit of a chance, so to speak, at opportunities. So, but I think that we'd love to have you come to the roundtables and, introduce you to like-minded people or potentially new customers. That's what we're here for.
Thank you for that, Joe.
Anyone
else? Sarah or Rochelle from Condo Park, if you've got any question. Okay.
I do.
Who? Sorry.
Charles.
Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah. Just to add on to what the previous few speakers have talked to, I think it's about collaboration. And I think what was said was personal over, digital is good, but personal is very important. And I think the one speaker who spoke about the lack of knowledge by SMEs, I think that's important too. I think they're suffering in silence. I think that, this possibly the new information that's required to be able to competitively work with the new environment as it's rapidly developing can be overwhelming, and they shouldn't be suffering in silence. It's a matter of reaching out and trying to get people together and to be able to collaborate, and so that you can identify who it is that needs the help. And there is, from all the very astute attendees today, very qualified. So the help is there. It's a matter of kind of getting it to them. When it comes to the group that's sponsored by the chamber, I think, I think you said 8 or 9. That's okay, but I think it might be good to try to get a survey to find out what kind of problems are really occurring within the chamber, within the membership, and then be able to target that after. Thank you, Charles. I think a very valid point, and I think there will be a couple of surveys going, one from West Fund and as well as from the chamber, post-COVID, to understand more about your real needs and wants, and so that we can tailor a solution to it. And the round table, yes, they are a group of 8 to 9, but we can create many tables to cater for that. And we're delighted to say we're going back to face-to-face events. So the first one's going to be on the 1st of November, how to do business with government. And again, it's going to be very crucial because the state government, especially under new leadership, they're very keen to engage and give business to small business. But they discovered small business are failing on technicality. So hence why they facilitated for this first-time event through the chamber to come and give us some sort of presentation and explain to us how they can work with you and how you can work with government. So it's very important to be at this coming event on the 1st of November, Monday, the 1st of November. More information will be available through our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and a newsletter. Reach out to me, and hopefully the next one will be on the 15th. So networking event, face-to-face, key crucials. Reach out to me for any kind of discussion or any kind of issues you have, so I can understand your local problem, and I can be able to assist in facilitating the solution. So don't hold back, reach out. Any other question before we can introduce Jackson to enlighten us and put a smile on our face? Well, Michelle, to your team, amazing, thank you. The key factor is all about building relationship. It's all about collaboration. It's all about working together, and it's all about building loyalty. My friends, it's all about loyalty. Transactions are crucial,
But at the end of the day, if there's no loyalties, people or customers or clients will never come back. So let's focus on what is important. So without further ado, let me just introduce Jackson. So it's time to sit back, relax, and unmute your mics to take part in some interactive entertainment. Our guest today was a resident magician at the Star Casino for 3 years and was called the best in the business on the morning show. You may have seen him on Disney, the Today Show, Sydney Weekender, or on social media where his viral videos have gained over 2 billion views. So please put your hand together for Jackson Aces. The floor is yours, Jackson.
Thank you very, very much, Wally, for that warm introduction. Thank you as well to everyone for that warm round of applause. I do appreciate it. I know that a lot of you might not be, dressed formally or whatever, but those of you who can put on your videos as well as your audio, I would love to see you as well as hear you, because this is going to be like an interactive theater environment, and I'm going to do some magic with all of you at the same time. I know you're probably thinking straight away, how does a magic show work on Zoom? Well, I'm going to show you it's all about you and it's not about me. So I want everyone to hold their hands out in front of them, just like this, with the palms to the floor, arms nice and straight. Looking very good, CBCC. Now I just want you to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Oh, thank you so much. That just means the world. What a beautiful audience. Now, look, I've really, we are going to do some magic with just your two hands. So I want you to just hold your arms out in front like this with your thumbs up, like you're about to applaud. And if you do like something tonight, make sure you applaud and let me know so I can hear the energy and feel it. Just go like this with your thumbs up and cross the arms over. Either way is fine. Very good. Now, this is a little tricky, but you're going to turn both hands in the opposite direction. So the palms go together and the thumbs will point down. Give the thumbs a little bit of a wiggle and then lock your hands together. And if you're with me, say yeah.
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 Very nice. Now, if you say the magic words, the magic will happen. And tonight, the magic words are, we love CBCC.
CBCC.
That is beautiful. And now you should just be able to twist your hands. Oh, just up, just like that.
No.
All right, I've got to admit, I'm being a little cheeky. That trick is just for me. I like to see everyone try and figure that one out. I promise if you do try it a few more times after the show, you will figure out how I did that. But I'm going to get a few people on stage to be part of the magic and actually make the magic happen. And I'm going to start with the one and only Rochelle G. Let's make some noise for Rochelle.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Rochelle, thanks so much for volunteering.
I didn't.
I know. You just have such a nice, you got such a nice smile, Rochelle. I had to get you on stage.
Yeah.
Now, Rochelle, are you familiar with a pack of cards?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. I have an invisible pack of cards,
Okay.
and tonight you're going to do the magic with this invisible deck. Could you reach toward your webcam and just take the invisible deck from me?
Got it.
Oh, you did perfect. It's like we've rehearsed this. Rochelle, take the cards, give them a shuffle.
Yep. I don't want to do this because I know a bad joke about that, so I'll just pretend
I wasn't
I've
going to
done
say
that.
anything. All I was going to say is you have to take them out of the box first, but that's okay.
Oh.
You've given them a good shuffle. And Rochelle, who do you think that we should use in this trick? Who do you think we should use? It's up to you, and they're going to be deciding whether this trick works or fails, really. Who should we use, Rochelle?
What about Michelle Cole? Because she had all the good ideas today, so we'll see how
She
good she
certainly
goes with
did.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's get Michelle on stage. She was definitely asking the hard questions. Now, Michelle, here's what we're going to do. Can you just reach toward your webcam and pull a card out of the invisible deck that Rochelle's holding?
Okay.
I just realized we have Rochelle and Michelle.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, now look at it. Don't show me, but I won't look. Show the audience. Show the audience. Sounds like a good card. Sounds like a good card. All right, now, Rochelle, could you throw all the cards in the air and catch them upside down? The cards upside down.
Yep, got
Nice.
them.
You went invisible there for a second. So you've got the cards, and Michelle, I want you to put your card back in the deck. Go ahead, place it back into the deck. Now Michelle's card is going into the deck upside down. And Rochelle, put the cards in the box.
Yep, done.
Good. And I just want you to hand me the deck through the screen. Just hand me the deck. How did you do that, Rochelle?
I know, right?
You're a real magician. That got a better response than I was expecting. So, Rochelle, in this deck, I did what you did, and I shuffled the cards, but I also did what Michelle did, and I put one card reversed in this deck as my choice. Now, Michelle, we might get a little... Have you thought of a card yet? Yeah? Okay, good. It should be the one that was printed on the box from the factory, the 10 of hearts. Is that what you were thinking of?
No.
Are you serious? Magic is pretty difficult over Zoom. What was the card that you were thinking of?
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me.
You gotta help me out here. What was it?
No, it was the two of diamonds.
I heard 10 of diamonds. Good choice. No, that's not what you said. You said, was it a 2 of diamonds? Was that your choice? Do you know what's so incredible is that in this deck, there is one card that is reversed. And I'll show you with nothing dropping out of frame. The deck has been here the whole time. Every single card you could have thought of is facing you, except there's one card that's facing me. And all the others you could have picked are facing you.
Get real.
Michelle, what was the card you thought of again?
2 of diamonds.
Yep, this is the 2 of diamonds. Thank you. No, look, to a thunderous round of applause. Michelle did the magic. The 2 of diamonds.
Well done.
Amazing.
Very clever.
How good was that? Thank you very much to Michelle for reading my mind and Rochelle for mixing up those cards. You both did a terrific job. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Wow.
Now I want to just Wally, do we have time for one more?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead. One more.
Yeah, Wally, I want you to pick a female volunteer from the audience.
Well, let's go for Sarah.
Sarah, Sarah Willoughby from West
Yes.
Fund Health Insurance. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for asking. Now, Sarah, have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Yes.
Been to Vegas. Terrific. Last time I was in Vegas, I learned something really incredible, which I want to show you. But first of all, can you just name your favorite animal in the world? Don't say your husband.
Favorite animal in the world?
Yeah.
Would have to be an eagle.
Oh, a snake? Good choice. Sarah, I love the way you think.
That was my second.
That was your second choice. See, that's what I picked up on. See, I'm a mind reader as well. Now, Sarah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that I hope nobody tries, but I'm sure that you'll never forget. When I was in Vegas, I got to meet the cast of Cirque du Soleil, and they taught me the ancient art of sword swallowing. Now, the thing is, over Zoom, no one can check to make sure it's a real sword. Everyone would just say, oh, it's just a fake sword. It goes into itself. So tonight, I'm going to show you the ancient art of balloon swallowing. I can see all of a sudden Wally's getting very excited. Settle down, Wally.
I am.
Here we go. You know what? For me to risk my life for your entertainment, I need a little encouragement. Joe, settle down, please. This kept me safe in prison. That's all I'll say. I need some encouragement.
Come on.
So I want you to just give me like a go. Let me hear it.
Amazing. Go.
How does he do it? Oh, we even got the dogs barking.
Yes,
No,
my dog, sorry.
There it is, Genevieve. No,
They're
look,
too
we're going to
excited.
do it for real. We're going to really do it for real. I just want you to remember, you'll probably never see this again in your lifetime. Let's get the energy. Let's do another go. Go. Here we go.
There you go. Eh?
Gone yet?
Thank you very much.
Lemonade.
I know what you're all thinking. A little bit of an awkward moment. And I know what you're thinking. The answer is yes. We are going to bring it back. I'm kidding. Relax. It's not that kind of a show. And it takes about 4 hours to bring it back. It takes about 4 hours. But Sarah, when it does return, it does come back as a poodle.
Oh, a poodle.
Yeah, or a Shih Tzu, one or the other. It's definitely a brown one.
Brown one, yeah.
Well, how about a big round of applause for our lovely volunteer, Sarah? Make some noise for Sarah, everybody.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. And thank you very much to Wally for the opportunity, as always. I wrote a little thank you note. I realized I didn't personalize it, so just watch. Can everyone just say "We love CBC" on 3? We love CBCC on 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
We love
CBCC.
CBCC.
We love CBCC.
There it is.
Okay,
I put my details in the chat. If you have any meetings coming up online that need a bit of a boost and to boost everyone's morale with something fun and different, please give me a call or send me an email. Again, Wally, thank you very much for having me. Thank you all for your energy. Make some noise for yourselves, CBCC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was great.
Thank you. And don't worry, next week I'll come back and I'll make the balloon come back. That'll be a different show.
Thank you, Jackson. Well, to everyone, we appreciate your time, and we hope that we managed to add some value to your journey. And again, reach out, don't hold back. Happy to chat at any time. We're here to support each other. We're here to generate loyalty. Once again, thank you to Western Sydney University for their amazing talent and for sharing their knowledge and their friendship, and to collaborate, who's always worked with the Chamber behind the scenes to make sure our digital platform is the right way to enable us to talk to each other, communicate and share ideas. And to Council, our key asset, and we look forward to continue working together, advancing our community. So stay safe, stay strong, and I look forward to see you at the next coming event face to face. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Wally.
Thanks, Wally.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you,
Thank you, Wally. Thanks, Collaborate. Thank you to Michelle and the team as well. TC, Felicitas, you were fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Bye.